Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. This week's Parshas Titzaveh. It deals primarily with the mitzvah of the sacred garments for the Kahanim necessary to perform the service in the tabernacle and the temple. At the end of the Parsha, it speaks about God's statement of V'shachanti b'soich b'nei Yisrael, with this tabernacle, with the Kahanim, with the sacred garments, I will dwell amongst the children of Israel. I will be unto them a God, meaning we will have a very close and unique relationship. And then it says in chapter 29, verse 46, V'yadu, and they will know, Ki ani Hashem Elokehem, I am the Lord their God, who took them out from the land of Egypt to dwell amongst them. Ani Hashem Elokehem, I am the Lord your God. Hashem is telling us that the purpose of the exodus of Egypt, the tachlis, the ultimate tachlis, was that God would dwell amongst and within the children of Israel. This means having a knowledge of God, be able to sense his presence, and to know that he is our God, our special relationship. Commentaries ask, why though does it mention twice in this verse that statement, V'yadu ki ani Hashem Elokehem, they will know that I am the Lord your God, took them out of Egypt to dwell amongst them, I am the Lord your God. Why does it have to repeat that, I am the Lord your God, twice? Parshas Titzaveh usually precedes Purim. This year, of course, we have an Ibayar. We have a leap year, so there is a second Adar. We have two Adars. We're in the first Adar. So we will not have the Purim with the reading of the Megillah this coming week. However, we'll have Purim Katan. Purim Katan is a minor festival. It also shares elements of the rejoicing found in Purim, but it does not have the mitzvahs of Purim. We don't do the Shalach Manos, the reading of the Megillah, Matanis La'avyanim. But nevertheless, we're allowed to talk a little bit about the Megillah. In the Megillah, we know Haman wanted to destroy the Jewish people. He was able to persuade Achashverosh to endorse a document that was sent throughout all of the empire, 127 nations, under the rule of Achashverosh, that 11 to 12 months, there is permission being given to destroy every single Jewish male, female, child, elderly, infants, a total genocide. And it says that Haman, his desire was lahashmid, v'lahareg, ula'abed. Three things: hashmid, a destruction; lahareg, to murder; ula'abed, and to cause them to be lost. These were the three things that Haman was planning. What exactly is the meaning of these three? What does it mean to destroy, to murder, and to cause them to be lost? What is that referring to? In addition, we find that in the Megillah, Haman is referred to as Sorer HaYehudim, the enemy of the Jews. There have been many anti-Semites throughout history, but Haman is crowned with this title, Sorer HaYehudim. He is the prototype enemy of the Jews, desiring a genocide. Haman wanted to destroy us. He's not the only one who wanted to destroy us. There were others. We don't find them being referred to. We don't see Antiochus as being referred to as the Sorer HaYehudim. We don't find by others. We don't find by Paro or the Romans as being referred to as Sorer HaYehudim, but Haman. The Chassam Sofer explains. We see in the Megillah, it says, "La Yehudim hayis oira v'simcha v'sasan vikar." This is a verse we say every Saturday night in our Havdalah. Unto the Jews, when we were saved and rescued from Haman, there was light, there was joy, there was gladness, and there was honor. What does this refer to? The Talmud says there was light with the death of Haman and the destruction of his legions. There was light, meaning there was Torah study once again. There was great joy. This refers to observance of Yontif. There was Sasa, and everyone was thrilled and happy. This refers to resuming without any hesitation the fulfillment of the mitzvah of circumcision, bris milah. And there was honor. What is the honor? We were able to wear our tefillin without any hesitation at all. From here we see that part of Haman's decree was that Jews would not be able to study Torah. He was prohibiting us from Shabbos observance, Yontif observance. No Jew was allowed to have their child circumcised, and tefillin was banned and prohibited. This, the Chassam Sofer said, is the meaning of lahashmid. Lahashmid, the root is shmad. The word shmad in Hebrew means one who abandons his faith, one who no longer observes Judaism, but embraces the faith of others, the philosophy of others. This is shmad. First and foremost, Haman, before his desire to kill and annihilate the Jewish people, first he wants shmad. First, I'm going to get them to sin. They will forget their Torah. They don't need Torah study. They will forget their Shabbos and Yontif. They will forget bris milah. They won't have their tefillin. Won't have any of that. That was first. Then, a year later, Haman's desire was that on that day, which would become Purim, Klal Yisrael would be thoroughly, totally destroyed, murdered, annihilated. He wanted to kill us. He wanted to kill us, but only after we would have a year of being immersed in the impurity and the corruption of sin. Why? Why was that so important to Haman? Does it make a difference? Should it make a difference to Haman or to Hitler, Yamach Shemai, if a Jew is gassed, put to death while he's wearing his tefillin, his tzitzis, or if it's on Shabbos and he's observing the Shabbos, as long as he's put to death? No. Haman wanted first to destroy the spiritual observance of mitzvahs and then destroy them physically. Why? Because he wanted to achieve his third goal, and that is that Klal Yisrael should be lost. What does it mean to be lost? That after they would die, there would be no world to come. Because if Jews live a full year in sinful behavior, without Shabbos, without bris milah, without Torah, without tefillin, if they're going to live without these signs of their faith connecting them to God, they will be living a sinful existence and be unworthy of the world to come. And that's what Haman wanted. He wanted lahashmid, to bring shmad, sinful behavior. Laharoig, he wanted to destroy us and annihilate us physically. Ula'abein, and we would therefore be dying with sin on our lips and not be worthy of the world to come. We would be destroyed and lost for all eternity. That was Haman's plan. But vina hapechu, it was turned around on Haman. And therefore, the Jews were able to destroy their enemy, Haman. Haman, the Tzorer HaYehudim, the enemy of the Jews. He wasn't satisfied just to remove Jews from the face of the earth. He wanted to destroy our souls for eternity. That makes him the enemy. That makes him worse than Antiochus, worse than the Romans. He wants to destroy us physically, spiritually, destroy our bodies and our souls. But God was with us, and he heard our prayers through Mordechai and Esther leading us. And therefore, we were able to enjoy the Shabbos, the Yontif, the Torah study, the Bris Milah, and the Tefillin. Because Haman made a tragic mistake. Haman did not know this verse that we began with, in which God says, I will dwell amongst them in my temple, and they will know that I am the Lord your God, who took you out of Egypt to dwell amongst you. I am the Lord your God. Why the repetition? The Or Chaim says, we might think, when do we have this unique relationship with God? He is the Lord our God. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. When do we have this? When we are living a beautiful, observant life, and we're all immersed in Torah and mitzvahs. And what's the proof? We have God's temple. We're worthy of having his temple. And within that temple, God dwells amongst us. Then he is the Lord our God. But what would happen if many of Klal Yisrael go astray and they lose their identity? And perhaps they're not as observant as they should be. And therefore God says, I cannot live amongst you. I can't live amongst the stench of sinful behavior. I can't live amongst those who publicly, openly proclaim desecration of my Shabbos, of my kashrus. I can't live amongst you. We might think we'll lose the temple, as we did. We lost the temple once and we returned to it. And now we've lost the temple a second time, and we are awaiting the arrival of Mashiach, in which we'll see the building of the third and final temple. But will we still retain that unique, loving bond with God, even when there exists sinful behavior amongst our people that God says, I can't dwell with you? That's what the verse is telling us, the Or Chaim says. You will know I'm the Lord your God who took you out of Egypt to dwell amongst you. I took you out of Egypt when there was idolatry, when there was corruption of thought, sinful behavior. I took you out of Egypt, I purified you, gave you my Torah, and I will dwell amongst you. But even if we are not worthy of God dwelling amongst us, we don't have the temple because there is some sinful corruption of thought and behavior. Ani Hashem Elokeichem. I am still the Lord your God. Don't think that if I can't live amongst you, it means I've rejected you and we no longer are his chosen people and we no longer have God's Torah. That's incorrect. We are always God's chosen people. We are always God's children to whom he has given his greatest gift, the Torah. We will always be his unique recipients, descendants of Abraham and Sarah, Yitzchak and Rivka, Yaakov, Rachel and Leah, worthy of having this unique relationship, even when there are those who go astray. And therefore, maybe God doesn't dwell amongst us, but we are still connected. That's the meaning of this verse. And that's what Haman, I would like to suggest, was not able to perceive. Haman intended to bring sin upon Klal Yisrael, and he was probably very successful with a few or maybe even many. Afraid to wear tefillin, afraid to observe Shabbos and Yontif, afraid to have their children circumcised. They were afraid to study Torah because they would be put to death by the law of the land, decree of King Achashverosh, disseminated by Haman. And there was sinful behavior. but God would be with us nevertheless. That would not mean that our bond and our chain and the love that Hashem has for us would be diminished or broken in any way. That's what Haman failed to realize. Haman failed to realize what our enemies throughout the centuries have failed to realize, and what our own people failed to realize. Hashem's remarkable love for us. Well, why do so many tzaras happen? We're so beloved, and look at this. Many of the tzaras that happen, we bring upon ourselves. When we turn our backs to Hashem's gift of his Torah, when we say we don't need a moil, we'll find some doctor to circumcise, or we don't need the Shabbos, but rather we could use it as just part of our weekend, and maybe we'll go exercise and go to centers and whatever on the Shabbos day, the Yom Tov day, or whatever it might be. Or we don't need tefillin. Do we have tefillin? Is it necessary? Whatever it is, these things we bring upon ourselves. Hashem saying, you know what? I can't live amongst you this way. I love you. I love you, my child. But I have to remove myself. And if you say you don't want a relationship with me, okay, I'll let you go down the path you want to go, and we'll see what happens. Maybe you'll realize what you're missing. I'm not here to explain why there are tzaras to Klal Yisrael, tzaras that are unimaginable and inconceivable. Far be it from any man to be able to explain the ways of God. But this we see in the verse, and this we see throughout history. We are still here. And we are still God's chosen people and will forever be his chosen people. When he shochni b'seichem, he can dwell amongst us, or even if we go astray and we don't have the temple and we don't have the magnificence and the glory of God's presence amongst us, but the love and the bond, that still exists. We hope and pray for revelation of Mashiach, in which all of Klal Yisrael will be inspired to recognize the beauty and the glory of God's Torah and all of his mitzvahs, the Shabbos, the Yom Tov, the Kashrus, the Bris Milah, the Tefillin, everything, every custom, how blessed we are, how fortunate we are. May we be worthy of seeing and witnessing this speedily in our lifetime. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay Jewish. Have a good Shabbos.